Hi and welcome to Ready to Go lessons from Standout Teaching. This is lesson structure number 3. And this is quite a complex lesson, but if you get it right, it will lead to real student engagement, pace and hence progress. This is a 7-part lesson, and if we just have a quick look at the lesson donut timings, you can see you've got 3 longer activities split up by shorter activities, your starter and your plenary at the beginning and end, and they're interjected as well by 2 5-minute self-assessment activities. So if we move on to our starter, set your sky high question. So remember, this is the most challenging question based on the learning within the lesson. And what we're doing here is just giving a little bit of a test to think about what the lesson is going to be about and giving some keywords to support them having a bit of a guess at this question. Now if you pitch this right, they'll be able to get some of the answer but not all of it. Bear this in mind, if they get all of the answer, then they already know the learning, so be aware of that. And remind students that it is a challenging question, and at the moment they're not expected to get it right, but it's a benchmark to work from and reflect on later on. Then give them a little bit of a reading activity, so this is an individual one. Give them some text. That text is based around the content for the lesson, and if possible ask them to sub the text, so ideally give them a photocopy. Remember, sub is scan, which is reading through the text, then get them to underline the key parts of the text, and finally get them to pick out the key words using boxing. This is a great, engaging way to get them to interact with the reading rather than just reading through it. Follow that up. Use a little bit of questioning related to the text. Let's just see how well they have actually read it and applied sub. And remember, we can use bouncing questions here, which is where we question them, give them a bit of time to think about it, which is quiet, ask them for the answer, and then ask them to nominate people and bounce the question around, see each other's answers. And if you do that, what it'll do is it'll ensure you engage the attention of the entire class. This then moves on to the main activity for the lesson. You could do this in pairs, groups, or as an individual. Here I've selected, if you look at the little graphic at the bottom, as a pair. Learning blooms is a great way of teaching. What you do is you give them a task and you give them 8 suggestions as to how they can approach that task. So it might be creating a mind map, a picture, a story, a drawing, a storyboard. It's entirely up to you. This has been gapped as well, so the amount of detail they show through the activity they select will help to challenge them or support them depending on what they go for. So they undertake that activity part way through, because it's actually quite a long activity, 20-25 minutes worth of activity. Give them just a little bit of time just to stop and reflect on how well they're progressing with that activity. And we do that through some green pen. And what they can look at is areas of strength so far within the activity, and more importantly, areas to be improved, because when they go back into the activity, they can apply their findings that they've come up with. So they return back to the Learning Blooms activity, continue with the task that they selected, and aim to complete it. Finally, we then move into the plenary. What you're going to do is a nice little one where you get them out of their seats around the room, put a set of statements related to the lesson, ask them to go around and just tick or cross whether they feel confident with them. Obviously, if they're putting lots of ticks down, then that's telling you that they've learned a lot, they've learned what's expected from the lesson, and one of those statements could actually be related to the sky high question, and they could compare their thoughts in relation to that in relation to the actual answer that they put down as the starter. Okay, and that's a little individual activity. So, pacey lesson based around learning blooms, stretched over a 20-minute period. In between that is that sandwich is a little bit of reflection and also tying in some reading. Now, all of these resources, the lesson infographic, PowerPoint, the lesson plan as well, are available on the Standout Teaching website. So thank you for listening.